Have you guys ever heard that women are like worse than the FBI when it comes down to like finding out stuff? Like, I'm a stalker, you guys. And let me tell you something. Those are actually my favorite to deal with. Like, those kind of men, you guys. We walked into the office like we were there to jump the guy. Like, we walked in there like he freaking owed us something. We know he's here. Like, we just saw his car outside. We know he's here. Tell him to come out. Hi everyone, thank you for watching and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with part 2 of the my house almost burned down story time. I really don't know what I'm gonna name it first. But bottom line, I had to create a part 2 because the story turned out to be longer than I expected, for the fact that, you know, I was telling the part of where, like, how the fire happened and, you know, how it was scary. We had to be taken out of the house and stuff like that. And then part 2 is when we had to go into the office of the people who rented us and pretty much fight for our new home. So just stay tuned for that. It's coming. Just disclaimer though, I do get a little nasty. Like, I do like get a little like low, and please excuse me. It's just that what can I say, when they put you against the wall and when it's either your family or their convenience, you know what, that's an easy one. You know what the answer, or at least for me, that's an easy answer. And yeah, you guys, so just excuse me because I'm gonna get a little just a little low class. Like, my husband and I literally went in there and created a freaking scene, you guys, like no other. Honestly, I don't think we've ever had to go that far before, but it was about it was either my mom's and son's stability and you know, well-being, or their convenience. So of course they put us against the wall and we had to do what we had to do. So again, we got a little rude and we got a little low class, but we had to do what we had to do. So you guys want to watch part 2 when we went in there and freaking walked in like they owed us something, just keep watching. Okay, so I know I left off telling you guys that luckily the neighbors were actually relocated, even though the company was not trying to help them. They were actually relocated, and you know, on one hand I was really happy that we were okay and our home didn't burn down, but we actually ended up struggling for a day and a half. So here comes the story behind that. So on one hand, I was really happy that we were all okay and our house didn't burn down, but on the other hand, I'm like, damn, well, you know, when are we gonna be able to, you know, go back in there and this and that, you know? So we had to wait a couple of hours to, like, the inspector came and just cleared everything out and be like, okay, you guys can go back in there, it's fine, this and that. Just our services weren't gonna be. Now, at this point, we're like, okay, we're grateful that, you know, we are okay and everything, but like our services, you know, what's gonna happen, you know, because like pretty much, like, you know, it burned down, and well, the fire started almost 2 times again. The firefighters had to come 2 more times, you guys, until they found where the problem really was, and that's when they found out it was the cables from the attic, which the firefighter told me. He goes, yeah, the cables like actually were left hot because like they didn't see where the base of the fire was, which we found. He goes, and guess what? Your closet was next, because like your closet is pretty much next to their closet. He goes, so pretty much if that would have started a fire, like it would have come to you already. He goes, which I would go check your closet right now, because we like, you know, we had to throw water in there right now, and it was like this foamy water. I don't know how to explain. It was like this water with like foamy stuff coming out through the roof, you guys, not through inside my house, but like throughout the roof. I'm like, what the hell is going on? He goes, check your closet, because we had to, like, you know, we had a water hose, all of that. So like I would really check your stuff, and no, nothing went through, thankfully. But it was just scary, the fact that like I couldn't sleep. We couldn't sleep that night. Like, we still had to sleep in the house like that with no service and everything. We couldn't sleep, you guys. Like, we were scared. Like, that damn fire started 2 more times after that whole situation, like incident, like in the same day. You get me? So we were really upset, and I was like overhearing the neighbor, like the neighbor's family was arguing over the phone with someone, because apparently the company that we were renting with, like, they didn't want to help them move out, and they're supposed to. They have to relocate them. It was an accident. Well, I guess their argument was like, yeah, well, we're opening up an investigation because it seems that it was your fault. And it's like, even if it was, like, they're paying, they paid rent. Like, you have to meanwhile relocate them while everything gets resolved, you know? You can't just leave them out on the street. What's wrong with you? You know, like, you're good to, like, charge the rent, but, like, you know, what's wrong with you? You have to have your attendance back, you know? Like, the hell? And so I'm always hearing this stuff and I'm already getting heated because like I'm like, okay, well what about our services, you know, because I have a 7-year-old and I have a senior and I'm not about to let them go another day without services, you know, like we can't be doing this. We can't be getting freaking buckets of water to like flush the damn toilet. Like I remember like because the supervisor came and he was like, oh, you guys are good. He was like, yeah, you guys are good. You know, the water and the water and the electricity, you won't have a problem. He goes, but just call the gas company, tell them you're cleared out. So like, you know, you can get your services, like your gas service back on. I'm like, okay, so the electricity and the water will come back. It's fine. He goes, yeah, no problem with that. I'm like, okay. So I was like, we're good. We're fine. Like, don't, you know, it's okay. Like maybe another half a day and we're gonna be okay. Well, nobody ever came. So I was like, what the heck? You know, like our service went back on and like, you know, like I'm not like saying like, oh, I had to do this and like, you know, like it was so hard. But like, why do I have to warm up water on my stove when I'm paying rent? You get me? When I'm paying for my services to be at 100 all the time. So like, why do I have to go through that? Like, I understand the situation, but why do we have to go through that when we're paying a service, you know? So I saw, like, I spoke to the actual the manager, and she's just like, oh, I'll talk to the supervisor. So it was like going on another half day already. Like we didn't have any services. Like we didn't have any water. We didn't have, like, you can only imagine, you guys, how we were. Like it was just disgusting. Like, you know, I freaking, like, I remember I grabbed some water bottles because my sister had bought us like a case of water bottles, and she, like, you know, with all her heart to help out. And I freaking grabbed water bottles and just showered myself with it. Like, why do we have to be going through that stuff? You know, like, it's just such a... I understand when it's like a situation that we got ourselves into where like we probably couldn't pay the water bill or the light bill or like the gas bill. Like, okay, like we're going through this. But why are we going through something when you guys are a whole company? Like, why are you putting us through this? Like, you know? So I told the manager, I'm like, you know what? Like, I was being so patient, you guys. I was trying to be so patient and so patient and so patient. And I told the manager, like, you know what? I just bought $300 of market. And I'm not trying to like talk about prices here, but like I literally genuinely bought $300 and something of just market because I didn't want to go out to like buy food for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Like, I don't want to be out right now with this whole virus thing going on. So everything is just gonna like spoil, you know? And she goes, oh, don't worry, like, let me bring an extension and ask the neighbor to pass electricity over. So the neighbors were like cool with that at first, but then afterwards they started getting mean. And like when she was around, like they would leave it on, but then when she left, like they would disconnect it. And like the manager told them, like, she has a 7-year-old, like, do it for the little boy. Like, I'll pass you guys the money for the bill. Like, just let her connect, you know, her fridge to your electricity. And they're like, oh yeah, sure. And they would like let it for like 10 minutes and then she would leave and they would like disconnect it again. So like these people were being assholes to us for no reason. Like, I really don't care. Like I'm not gonna like take that personal, obviously, because I never knew them. And they're like those I'm not even gonna get into it because I'm not trying to insult anyone. There's just like those people that you don't want to have like anything to do with. Like, you just don't want to have anything to do with kind of people. Like, they're just, yeah. My point is, it was understandable why they were acting like that, because they were just those kind of people. Like, well, I was upset already. And the workers that from the company like came, they're like, you know what, you need to tell them that they need to relocate you because you can't be here. Because there's a lot of units right now open, like with the whole virus thing, they have to listen, this and that. And I told him, like, really? And when I said that, he kind of like held himself back a little, like, oh, like, these people are all scared of losing their job. I don't understand. Like, don't they know like there's laws that protect them? Like, I don't understand. But these people are like so scared of losing their jobs. Like, I don't hate it, but like I just dislike how like some people have fear. Like, I don't like people feeling fear. Like, don't feel fear. Don't be scared. Like, there's laws that protect you, and whether you lose that job or not, like you'll get a compensation somehow. Like, just don't be scared of losing your job, like, you know, for speaking up. So I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, there's units open. He goes, just, you know, don't say that I said it. I'm like, oh, don't worry about it, like, you know. And I'm like, oh, like, I don't want to, like, I'm over here still, like, I don't want to seem like I'm trying to take advantage of the situation so we could be moved to another unit, this and that, you know. Like, we've been wanting to leave that place. We've been wanting to move out to a bigger place, but for one thing or another, something just always happened where it couldn't happen in the moment, okay? And so, like, I didn't want to seem like I was trying to take advantage of the situation. But then again, I'm over here in a situation where I don't have services. I don't have basic services. So why shouldn't I ask for help when I'm paying my rent on time? When we're good tenants. Like, we've never given problems before. We had already been renting with them for years, since like my son was born. So like, why should I ask for help if we've been good to you guys, you know? Why are you not being good back? So I talked to my manager, and my manager's like, you know what, I don't know what to tell you anymore. So one thing about me and my husband, you guys, one thing about us, we're really good, polite, nice people until you put us against the wall. Like, once you put us against the wall and it's between my family's, like our family's well-being and your convenience, best believe that our family comes first. Especially if your convenience is greedy and selfish. Like, that's not gonna happen. So I'm telling you this right now. For those of you guys that know me for years and don't know this side of me, I'm glad you don't. And congratulations, you're just not a piece of shit. And that's why you guys don't know this side of us. But if we ever get the feeling that you're trying to mess us over in any type of way, you will have us up your ass. And I'm telling you, I'm not scared of like pushing things and going to the last consequences to get my way through. Like, I'm not scared of that. Like, I know some of you guys that are watching me, like, I know you guys know me since time back, and I know you guys knew another person, like another side of me, and knew another complete different person. That person is no longer here. Like, that is a completely, I am not that person no more. Like, if there's something I'm not scared of, it's confrontation. And I avoid it at all costs, you guys. I avoid confrontation for the fact that it's ugly. It's energy consuming. It's peace of mind consuming. Like, it just takes all my positivity away from me in the moment. As soon as I know I have to confront someone, or as soon as I know I have to say something to someone, it takes my whole peace of mind and my whole positive energy. Like, it takes all of that for me to have to do that, and that bothers me. And if you get me to that point, it goes even worse, because you just got me to a point where I have to get ugly. Like, everything has to be ugly. And why does it have to be ugly when we can just fix this as adults, you know? Like, I am in no way trying to ever sound like intimidating at all. Like, please don't feel that way. And I'm not trying to sound like, oh, I'm not the one to mess with at all, you guys. But for so many years, like so many years through my childhood and my teenage years, I lived pretty much in the shadows. Like, I disliked and I was like scared of confrontation. I was scared of problems. I just like live very repressed, if that's like the proper word for it. Like, just in a little shell where like people would push me over, people would bully me, people would punk me, people would push me and kick me around and stuff like that. And I did absolutely nothing and said absolutely nothing. And of course, nobody ever helped me either. So it's just, I am really trying to work on it, because like, because of that, I did turn out into an impulsive person where like sometimes I can't control like myself and I do go off. And that's something I'm working on now as an adult, but that is actually a result of me like just staying quiet for so long that now I refuse to ever stay quiet, to not like stick up for myself, and to not stick up and stand up for my family, and to not defend them with my all, you know? So I don't want to sound as like, oh, I'm not the one to mess with, or you should be scared of me at all, you guys, at all. Like, if you personally know me, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm not that type of person. But of course, I feel like everyone has that side. Anyone who's pushed to their limits, you gotta do what you gotta do. So my husband and I, I'm not gonna tell you guys how we got the information that we got, but in the next few hours, we already know what car this supervisor drove. We already know what time he worked and what time he left and what time he came in. We already knew what he looked like. We already know his name. We already know exactly where his location was. We already know, you guys. And I'm not going to tell you where we got the information from. I'm not going to like... Have you guys ever heard that women are like worse than the FBI when it comes down to like finding out stuff? Like, I'm a stalker, you guys. I'm a stalker. And if I know that I'm going to come into a form of confrontation with you at any moment or any point, I will find out everything I can about you. Anything I can have to grab you by the neck, I will get it. What I pretty much do is I pretty much gather up receipts in case the moment comes. I got you right here, and I'm gonna win the case because you did this and that. Like, I am that kind of person. Like, I do go out of my way to make sure that I have my back, to make sure that if you're doing something wrong and I'm in any way being victimized, or you are trying to mess me over in any type of way, or just affect me in any kind of way, like I will make sure I have receipts to have you by the neck, and make sure that if it comes down to that, like I'm not the one who's gonna be losing out of this. So with that being said, I'm not gonna say exactly how we found all of this out, but like I said, if we ever sense that you're trying to like mess us over, I'm telling you, you will have us on your case. Like you will have us on your case. So we went in there, you guys. We found out exactly where the office, because in all of these years that we had been renting, you guys, we have been renting with them for 7+ years. We're still renting with them. We at this point we've been renting with him for 7, maybe 8 years, almost 8 years. We had never ever asked for anything. We had never presented ourselves to the office. We had no idea where the office. We didn't even know the address of the office. Like that's how much we are just to ourselves people. We just do our own thing. As long as there's no inconvenience for anyone, we're just not that type of people. We're not here to, yeah, well, I'm paying you rent, I need you this. Like, we're not even like that, you guys. And you know what? One side, like, I'm happy I'm like that. Like, I'm cool that I'm like that. But then I'm like, I should be a little more demanding. But I just don't like to be that person. I don't like to be like that pain in the butt. You get me? And for doing that, like, sometimes we get messed over. And this is where I come in. Like, this is where I'm like, okay, like, we could only tolerate so much too, you know? And so I'm telling you, we had already found out where this guy was at, what time he left, what car he drove. We had already found out. So we went into the damn office because it was an hour till like the guy was like gonna leave his shift. The supervisor, like the whole management supervisor, the whole company supervisor. Like it was already that, like almost that time. So I'm like, we're not sleeping one more, like my mom and my son are not gonna sleep one more night in this place without services. Let's go. So part of the info that we got from this person was that apparently he downgrades women, and so he doesn't listen to women. So if I were to go present myself, he pretty much just ignore me. If I were to go demand him helping us, he would ignore me. So I found out that if I go with my husband, he would actually listen. I had known of this like case where like I guess this person was asking for something and it was something that was promised to her. Like it was attendant and it wouldn't be given to her. And then she presented herself with her husband and right away he gets, like, he's one of those, okay? He's a coward. Like that person is just a coward. People like that are cowards, you guys. Like they're just cowards. And let me tell you something. Those are actually my favorite to deal with. Like those kind of men are actually my favorite to deal with. Like honest to God, those are my favorite ones to put in their place. But I needed to move. I needed something to be done quickly because my son and my mom's well-being were like in the middle of all this. So you guys, we walked into that office like we were there to jump the guy. Like we walked in there like he freaking owed us something. Like we walked in there and I remember there was like 3 girls. Like I think it was like they were like his receptionist, and there were like 3 girls and they were like behind like this protected like window where like there's like this little window. Like, yeah, you guys know better than that because you guys know you piss people off. You know one of these days one of you is gonna get sucked. You guys are smart. So we go in there and I'm like, at this point I'm like so raged. We didn't even decide who did the talking. I just went in there and started doing the talking. And I'm telling, like, I come in there and I tell the girls, like, I'm not like rude, but I'm like stern. And I was like, yeah, we need to see the supervisor. And then he goes, did you guys have an appointment? Like literally she just, do you guys have an appointment? I'm like, no. And then she goes, it's like she starts pretending she's doing something on the computer. And she goes, yeah, I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to. And as soon as, like, in that moment, I interrupted her and I'm like, oh, he's gonna have to see us. I'm like, because the conditions that he has us living in right now are illegal. And if you don't want to be part of it, you tell him to come out right now. Like, he's gonna have to see us. My husband and I were like at the same time, we didn't even plan this, I swear to you guys, but it was so funny how both of us at the same time, we're both like, we know he's here. And then, like, the girl goes, what? And then both of us again at the same time, you guys, like, if we freaking rehearsed this, like, we were both like, we know he's here. Like, we just saw his car outside. We know he's here. Tell him to come out. Like we were both like, you know, like, it was so funny. It just seemed like we freaking rehearsed this, you guys. And then I guess at this point, she had already told us, like, she had already called them and he had already said he was gonna come out. And, like, I guess she had told me that, but I was so heated. Like, she had already told me, like, he's gonna come out right now. But I was so freaking heated that I kept, like, just you know, like telling her shit, you know. And then he goes, like, she literally goes, I just said he's gonna come out right now. And I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, literally, oh my god, you guys, like, it's so embarrassing just talking about it. This is where I say that it bothers me for people to push me to get there, because that person that I was being was like ugly. It was ugly. Like, I'm not proud of what I did, but I had to do what we both had to do what we had to do to get our family out of the situation. So like, we weren't proud of what we did. We weren't proud of the way we walked in, the way we talked to them, the way we talked to the supervisor. Like, we weren't happy, but we had to do it because they didn't care. They were like nice and fresh inside the little office with the little computers and whatnot. We're over here struggling in heat, you guys, because it was already getting hot at that time. Like, it was really cold at night and really hot in the day. You know, California, you know how it is. Like, it's freaking like bipolar ass weather. So like, we're getting the worst of it. And then we didn't even have water, you guys. Like, we don't have water to properly shower ourselves. We don't have gas to properly cook a meal. We had to be eating food from outside. And right now with this whole situation, this virus thing, like, why in the hell do we have to be going through this? We don't have electricity. Like, excuse me, you know. So yeah, you best believe we're gonna walk in there like, you know, we're gonna dump the guy. So then we were waiting there, and we're just like waiting, like, and we're over here, like, my husband and I are acting all mad. Like, that's the thing about me and my husband, like, we team up like that. Like, we, trust me, like, we are, like, if you know me personally, you know, like, I'm like one of like the most calmest, chillest person ever. I'm not like, you know, if anything, like, you have to get me like to be comfortable around you so I can really be me, like I am right here in front of camera. Like, you really have to like break my, like, you pretty much have to break my shell. Like, you know, I'm not just like this, like with anyone. Like, I'm actually very standoffish until you give me a good vibe, and I'm like, okay, like, I can be me, like, it's fine, you know. Otherwise, I have like a shield all the time. But my husband and I are really good with teaming up when it comes down to confronting people with situations, and we're really calm. Both of us are really calm, and we're really stern, and we're both like, we both really have that demeanor of like, no, you're not gonna mess with us, you know. So we're waiting there. We waited for like, I don't know, a minute. And this guy comes into the office, like this like older guy comes into the office, and I guess like, because these people are like so disorganized, but I guess like he had to like do some job for them, and like the person that was supposed to meet him there wasn't there, and this and that. So like the guy was giving them crap, and there was like three girls there, and none of them were helping him, and he like straight up was like, wow, he goes, wow, 3 of you, none of them helping me, huh? And then my husband and both of us, like, we're just talking shit of our ass. We're like, yeah, like, they're good for nothing. Like, I don't know what the hell they're doing there. Like, why are they even doing that? Like, we're just so talking crap, you guys. We're just so, like, we're just at that point, okay? And then next thing I know, like, all of, like, when the guy finally leaves, next thing I see is, like, the little curtains. Like, there's, like, because there's, like, this big-ass window, and, like, the little blinds, they just, like, move a little bit. And I know it's the supervisor guy. And he's coming out, right? And I guess he sees who's with me, you know? He comes out, and without like letting I'm telling you, like, I was just so heated that I was just doing all the talking. And I told him, I'm like, hey, I'm like, yeah, you came earlier and you told us like the services were gonna be back up, and I'm just wondering what's going on. Like, you know, like, I have a senior, I have a 7-year-old, we have no services. And he goes, so you guys, did you call it? Like, he's over here like all stupid. Did you call the company? I'm like, of course I did, but what about the water and the electricity? You know what the firefighters just told us? That we're not even gonna be able to get electricity until you guys fix the cable panel. And we don't see any action. We can't wait we cannot wait another day without services till somebody finally comes. And that's a process, you guys, because they have to like get approved by the city. Like, it was a mess, you guys. Like, till this day, it's been 2 weeks since the fire, okay? Until this day, I've been going back and forth because like some packages are still being delivered there from the stuff that I had ordered before. Till this day, nothing has been done. Nothing, you guys. Like, nothing. Like, imagine 2 weeks without services. What the hell? Like, you know? So, you know, I'm over here telling him, like, you know, what's going on? Like, this is illegal. You know, you guys can't have us like this. Like, what is going on? You guys are all fresh over here in your little office and whatnot. We're over here struggling. Nobody's trying to help us out. He's like, he said something about a call. And I think he was talking about like the gas company, and I went off on him like, I called you, I texted you, I did this, and they're like, what happened with your phone? Like, what's wrong with your phone? Like, I'm over here like, because at this moment I had his personal phone number, you guys. I'm telling you, you will have us on your case, you guys. Like, if we ever get messed over, like, it's not gonna be good for those people. And the dude like was like nonchalant, you guys. He was just like there chilling. My husband stepped in. He goes, you guys know you guys can't be doing this kind of stuff. Like, hey, I have a son, I have a 7-year-old, and then I have my mother-in-law. She's a senior. You guys can't be doing this. Like, you know, we don't have water, we don't have gas. Like, what's wrong with you guys? We don't have electricity. Like, we're paying our rent at time. What is wrong with you? The guy was like so cool about it. He goes, yeah, well, I have an apartment ready, like it's a 2-bedroom. It's already ready to go if you guys want it. And we're just like both like, we're like, it's like we're over here and we just went. We're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, like. He goes, yeah, he goes, it's just gonna be, you know, it's gonna be $400 more, this and that. I'm like, yeah, that's fine, fuck it. He goes, what? I'm like, yeah. I see why he's trying to ignore women. But honestly, like, to what I saw, you know, the person that gave me some of the information, yeah, it was true. He was more interested in seeing what my husband, like, he was more interested in what my husband was saying rather than me. Like, he pretty much kind of like, not discard me or bypass me, but he would hear where like, he would listen to me, but he would listen to him more. Like, it's sad, you guys. It's really sad that we're in 2020 and that's still going on. Like, but joke's on them, you guys, because usually those kind of people, they pay it up with what hurts most. And mostly, like, when you mess people over like that, when you disrespect people, you pay it up with what hurts you the most, which is your children sometimes, you know, somebody really close to you. So I just hope to God that his daughters or somebody who really loves that is a woman never gets disrespected like that. Honestly, it's not really a big deal to me because, like, I'm not sensitive like that. I'm more like, well, whether you like it that I'm a woman talking to you or not, you're gonna do what I'm telling you, period. As long as I get my way, I don't care. At last, he told me, he goes, yeah, he goes, it's ready to go, you know, it's a 2-bedroom, this and that. He goes, are you guys gonna want to stay there? Are you guys gonna want to move back? And I still like my husband and I knew already that we're not gonna want to move back, especially if they're giving us like a bigger house. But I'm still over here like trying to like, you want to go back? You want to stay? They're over here like, are you gonna want to go back? And he goes, and I'm like, no, we're not gonna go back. I'm like, no, we're just gonna stay. Okay, well, let me get you the contract, this and that. I'm like, okay, cool, we'll wait for you right here. Like, I think he thought I was gonna like go back home and I was gonna wait. No, sir, you're gonna give me the contract right now. So he steps in and he steps back out. And he tells me, you guys want to come back in a bit, or you know what? I'll just send like your area manager to just take it to you. Because it's a 40-page. And I'm like, no, we could wait. He goes, it's 40 pages. I'm like, but you're gonna send it right now. Like, you're gonna give it to her right now. He goes, yeah, no, right now. I'm like, okay. I'm like, fine. You know, we'll step out for a bit. Then as soon as I call manager, I'm like, hey, he's gonna give you a new contract. Like, you make that happen. I'm like, you make sure that he gives you a new contract, or else I'm just gonna have to come back to the office right now. Like, don't he think that he's gonna discard us because he's about to leave? Like, we're not gonna let him leave. She was like, oh yeah, he was trying to get a hold of me. I think he was trying to call me that, you know, like, don't worry, like, I'll take care of it, this and that. So they brought us the contract or whatever, and I was like signing a fucking 50-page contract. And they brought us to see the house, and I freaking loved it. Like, oh, you guys, like, I was where we were, honestly, you guys, even when we were leaving, like, we couldn't believe, like, we lived there for so long. But just honestly, like, when it's not your time, it's not your time. And it was a small place for all 4 of us, but like, in the moment when I found it, it was a blessing, because when I found it, I was like 2 weeks from like giving birth to my son. So like, I was really blessed to find that place, because my husband and I needed somewhere to move in, and I needed my mom, you know, to take care of my mom too. So like, it was perfect for us in that moment. Now, if we stayed there for so long, it's because for one reason or another we couldn't get out, and it's nothing that I'll ever be ashamed of. It happens for a reason, you know. And you know, we had made the living room to our room. We had given the room to my mom. You know, it was a small kitchen, a small bathroom, but we made the best out of it. I was really happy, honestly. Like, yeah, I was fed up. I wanted something bigger, but you know, I prayed to God, and honestly, it's just so crazy how everything happened, because everything happened so fast. And honestly, I got to the point where when I was praying to God, I was like, God, I'm like, at this point, only a miracle of yours will really get us to move out. You know, like, it's just, everything's so hard right now. And then with this whole virus going on and everything, and like, some of us are unemployed and this and that. So like, you know, I was like, Lord, like, only a miracle of yours will like get us to move out. And it wasn't necessarily a miracle, you know, because like, I mean, it wasn't like, it was a disgrace for somebody and miracle for us, sure, but like a disgrace for somebody. And honestly, you can be happy and thrive over somebody's disgrace. Now, these people were actually the neighbors, the ones that their house burned down, they were actually relocated too. But I heard they really weren't happy where they were put. But I did hear that like this house, like they were gonna give it to them. But I guess like my manager knew like her son is just too much of a troublemaker, and this area here is very quiet and very calm. Like as much as like outside of the children, this area here is like so like it's like more of a private. So she knew it wasn't gonna be like a good combo and that she was gonna have problems like if she brought them here. So we got the house, you know. Like I said, we've always been really good tenants. We've always been really good people. We've always been quiet. We never ever had problems with the law. We never got ourselves into trouble or like where we've never. So, you know, it paid off because now they gave us this house. It's with the same company. We're still renting with them. You know, maybe one day you guys will be able to buy a house. Like, we'll be able to get a bigger house and we'll be able to, like, you know, move into a bigger place. But for now, I'm very grateful and I feel very blessed for this new, like, chapter and this new opportunity that was given to us. We're really happy. I'm very happy and grateful that I have my own room now to film, and, you know, it's just decorated the way I want it to be, and you know, all my stuff right here, and you know, I'm grateful we didn't lose anything. And you know, it got ugly, you guys, like it got really ugly, but you know what they say that like something good always comes out something bad, you know. So like, I don't know, you guys, like I don't feel proud of like going in there like with my husband and like acting like that, but in the moment we had to do what we had to do for our family. Like me and my husband, you know, we're in our mid-20s, like late 20s, yeah, 27, 20. So like us, it's like whatever, you know, we'll suck it up. But you know, my 7-year-old and my mom, who's a senior, who's already been through a lot, like why do they have to be going through stuff, you know? So like for us, it was like more about them. So as soon as they gave us the apartment, like the first thing we, like, a apartment house, whatever you want to call it, the first thing we did, my husband and I, is move the beds out. Like that's the first thing we did, is like took the beds so they can already spend the night here, you know. So like that's my husband and I just got on it. All we needed is another like place, and my husband and I just got on it, you know. But you guys, like I'm really happy that we have like a new home now. Like honestly, I'm really happy, and I feel really blessed, and I'm still like recovering from all of that, because you know, the fact that we had to like move from one day to another, it was like, you know, usually you have to prep for that because you're like, okay, we're gonna move, it's gonna be a lot of work, a lot of stuff. Like I wasn't. And the thing is that since we were like, they like kicked us out of the house like 5 in the morning, like my son ran out with just a little t-shirt and his boxers, and it was cold, so I took my jacket off and gave it to him. And one of the neighbors was like kind enough to bring us some slippers, and like, because we were barefoot, and oh my god, like people can be so kind and just restore hope to humanity. But you know, I was just wearing a little tank top and my sweats, so like it was 5 in the morning and I was warm, so like the whole breeze, like it just messed me up, and I was under the weather for a while until like I finally got a cold. So while my body's fighting the damn virus, like we're doing this, and you know, the last thing you need to be doing is like overworking yourself when you're really sick, and you know, so it was a little hard. And that's why, like in my previous video, not the previous, but where I dyed my hair red, you can see it in I feel like you can see it in my demeanor. It took a toll on me. Like it really had me like, I feel like I look aged within days, you know. Like I'm recovered, thank God, but I feel like the whole thing, like it just like made me like look aged for a couple of days. I don't know if I can explain myself, but it could really take a toll on you, you know. You know, I'm just really glad we're out of that. I'm really glad everything turned out in a positive way to all of us. I know it's a fact that they might have a coming lawsuit towards them, because like, I don't know, something's going on there. But yeah, you guys, I really hope you guys enjoy the story time. It's a little depressing, I know, I'm sorry, but you know, I like to share everything with you guys. I've become really attached to you guys, my subscribers, and I really honestly never expected this. Like when I started this channel, like I know like I wanted to grow, and I know I wanted to like have an audience, stuff like that, but I never thought I would become really attached. And honestly, like I have like this I have like this love for you guys. I don't know how to explain, and I really appreciate every single one of you guys. And the ones to my new subscribers, hi, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for your support. To the ones that have been here since day one, I love you so much. Thank you so much. Like, you're a real one. And to the ones that clicked out on my channel, or to the ones that are unsubscribing out of my channel, thank you too, you know. But you guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed the story time, and see you guys next time. Bye guys.